All right, we are here today with Ciprian with Social Innovation Solutions. Tell us what you're up to in Romania. Give us a quick overview of all the things that you guys are involved with.
It's going to be an amazing decade for us.
Awesome.
We talk a lot about the future, so we would not be able to tell you what we're going to do this year. Only we can tell you what we're going to do in the next years.
Nice.
Yeah. So the main focus this year again at Social Innovation Solutions is to find not just those people that make the future, but also find the solutions that we need to better prepare our businesses, our society, our governments for the future.
Awesome. I love what you guys are doing. I like to think I am ready for the future, although I never really am. It's the way that you're challenging people to think through the information you're giving and the events you guys host. I think are, for me personally, when I was at the Future Summit earlier late last year, was like my brain started turning on like all these ideas and opportunities and things like that. But you guys are not just working with proven entrepreneurs, you're also engaging young people to think about their future and giving them opportunities as well. Is that right?
I think it's not just us, but they are doing a very good job. We have a large educational program. We go in about 30 cities in Romania in 2020 and maybe 50 cities in the next decade.
Nice.
Plus spreading around the Black Sea region in the future.
Cool.
And what we're doing is this year we're talking to about 3,000 young people, both in social impact award and in future makers, about what we need to do as young people to be better prepared for tomorrow. What are the skills, what are the businesses, what are the organizations, and in the end, what are the solutions that we can put down at the table and try to have a better, systemically better future. Romania is unfortunately the last place on everything, but I think we're one on probably top 3, top 5 places in Europe at least in terms of ambition and in terms of inspiration. Now, in the past I didn't really believe that, but in the past 2-3 years we've traveled all around the country and we've seen thousands of young people that have the drive, the desire, and they're incredibly naive, and I was stressed as naive, to believe they can change the world. And this is the exact type of people that we're looking at, or for. We're looking for people naive enough to believe they can change the world, because if you just have very strict people that say nothing can be done, or very people that are not confident enough, then those most likely are not going to be the people that will change the future. So what we're looking for is young people all across Romania that have a desire. Maybe they don't have a concrete plan on how to change a problem in their community, or they don't have a concrete business plan, but we're there to teach them that as well.
That's great. That's that essence of the idea, but even just the desire, that starting place from having a desire to create change and to dream that things could be different than the way they are.
And these days, to be an entrepreneur or to be a social entrepreneur, it's sometimes becoming fashionable, which is good.
Yeah.
But in the same time, it might be a bit unhealthy for the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because if you just do it because it's fashionable, you might not be there.
Yeah.
Now, what we're also talking with these people is, why are you doing this? Why do you want to become an entrepreneur? What do you want to change? What is the problem? What are the causes that you're trying to address? Even if you're 18, 16, or 28, the questions are the same.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah. And not too many people stop and ask that question or get asked that question.
Yeah. I was talking last November at the Future Summit about the luxury of time. And it's one of the most, if not the most important asset that we all have, time. So what we hope we create, both in Social Impact Award and in Future Makers, is time. Time that neither, if you're 16 or if you're 61, you will feel that you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
So we immerse ourselves in a lot of hours of conversation, practical, most of them, to see not just why we do this, but how we do this, with whom we do this, who are we doing this for, and especially what are the others around the world doing to fix similar challenges.
Nice. Earlier, last year at the Future Summit, you brought in leaders from around the globe that are really pioneering concepts or ideas in their respective domains. Tell us a little bit about the Future Summit for those people that don't know about it.
So, Future Summit started a couple of years ago from a need that we felt that there's not enough conversations about the future in Romania. So we said we're going to do a one-time event, and that one-time event led to a lot of other stuff, pretty cool stuff. Now, we can say this pretty certain, the Future Summit is the largest event in Romania, focusing on the future, from opportunities to challenges, from solutions to people doing it. We were very honored by almost 450 people at Future Summit last year. We hope to get even more people this year, between 18 and 19 November, so 2 days about the future. And it's not just bringing hundreds of people together, but what we can all understand better together. A lot of the people after Future Summit, like you said, wrote to us proactively. Proactive feedback is the best feedback.
That's good, especially when it's positive.
Most of it was positive. And they said, oh my God, I went from food waste to AI and from digital healthcare to climate change and education. So this triggers in people the need to understand more and better, because they realize it's not just about technology, it's not just about politics, it's not just about money, it's not just about people, it's about everything. So as we say in Romania, cu de toate.
It was an all-inclusive event in a way of the domains, and for me it just sparked a lot of ideas, and it felt like, wow, there's just so many opportunities and potential, especially for young entrepreneurs who are thinking about maybe doing a business or having social impact. It was like, if they could just get that content, take it and go, what could I do? What am I passionate about? And how could I implement some of that? They really could be leading the way to the future.
One of the things that we're starting this year is how can you move from a 1 day or 2 day event and create something that has probably not been done before, which is how do you create this 366-day event?
Interesting.
So what we're starting this year is to bring the conversations about the future that take place during each Future Summit, and we take them all around the country. In a new concept called Future Talks, which aims to bring the future to more local settings and local conversations. So if we would pick a city like Craiova or Suceava or Iași or Constanța for that matter, what we're going to do this spring is to engage with key local stakeholders, from public authorities to key business people to some of the most interesting and important, if you like, social entrepreneurs and also the emerging leaders of these cities, to have half-a-day conversations about what the future means for Craiova, for example. What does AI or what does climate change or education or the Green Deal, what do these mean in Craiova or in Suceava? Not just what does this mean in Bucharest or in Romania or in Europe.
I think that's great. I think, and one of the things we were talking earlier, and you said that really bringing this to even smaller communities that oftentimes are overlooked in Romania, that some of your services and bringing these opportunities for people to gather and talk, ideate, connect, but dream about their local community. Because frankly, local communities need great leaders, and they're there. They need empowered to stand up and make a difference in their community. And you guys are, I think, planting this seed amongst a lot of young people across the country too.
Yeah, we're doing this both through social impact award and future makers, and what we've seen in the past years, going around the country, is that a lot of, in particular in medium to small cities or communities, a lot of these amazing young people say, "Oh, this is the first time somebody comes to us to have a conversation."
Wow.
And that's a bit weird, because why, should we come from Bucharest to have this conversation? So what we're trying to do is also to empower these community leaders, young community leaders, to create their own conversations, to create and foster solutions in their local cities. They do that already.
Yeah.
But they say they're not doing it at the level that they could.
Yeah.
So we're trying to ignite that as well and support it.
Okay, very cool. So take us back to you personally, young Ciprian. How do you get here? Early
still young,
90s.
Brian.
You still are young, but let's go younger.
Yeah.
In the early 90s or 90s, early 2000s, as you're growing up, what set you down this path? Because what you're doing is incredibly innovative, and now you're turning around and helping others be innovative. And what got you here? Why are you doing this?
I think there's a lot of reasons why this happened. There's a lot of people that made this happen, from family to friends and foes.
Tell us about one.
I'll actually tell you about a teacher that I used to have. She's an English teacher in high school, and she said, "You should go and become an English teacher." I said, yes. And then at one point she said, but why don't you try to do something else? To use, back then, my better English, now it's kind of broken, and use this to teach people outside of school English. Or why don't you try to help more people become better in what they're good at?
Yeah.
So that triggered the question, why just focus on one thing, which then, was 16, 17, was English.
Yeah.
And why not focus on other stuff? So I think that was a key moment, and that led me, during my BA studies, to go into politics.
Okay.
So I used to be one of those guys that would give you a flyer with somebody like, "Hey, do you want to talk more about Mr. X?"
Yeah.
And that was a very interesting period of my life. And then eventually it led me to work for the Aspen Institute for about 10 years, and then for Ashoka for about 2 years, and to some extent more recently into this Cu de toate.
Awesome. Well, we're big fans of what you're doing, and
As well.
I think it needs to be, more people need to know about what you're up to outside Romania and inside. The last question I always ask everybody is a bit of a ringer. It's what is good to you? When you think of the word good, what do you think of? What is good to you?
Well, besides the good euro, which is obviously the first thing that comes to mind today, I think I would not say good, because that's putting a value to it already, but I would rather focus on something else, which is caring. Do you care? What do you care about? This is how we, for example, start conversations with young people when we try to help them create a solution. We start from the problem or the opportunity. What do you care about? I care about elder people. I care about not having that much corruption. I care about the environment. So what do you care about? Is there something that means something to you?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to fix it? Yes. Let's try to find together a solution. If it's innovative or not, maybe it's less important. What's really important is if you care about what you're doing. Yeah. If you're not if you're not invested, if you don't have skin in the game, most likely you won't get too far.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your time and being here today. We really appreciate you and your team and all the effort you guys are putting in and making a massive difference in this country.
Thank you very much.